So we're going to go over to earlier today. We were with Mitch Feierstein at the Trump Tower.
So we have a President Trump, but being a man of the people, he won't accept his presidency here at Trump Tower, but over at the Hilton.
Make America great again.
I'm so excited, Mitch. We're going to see America be made great again by a great American success story.
Yeah, well, I mean, there it is. Donald Trump won the election, and it's just like Brexit. People are fed up, and in the last chapter of Planet Ponzi, my book, I talk about this exact phenomenon. You can push people far and far enough, but when it comes to the end of the road, he's opened the kimono of Washington's cesspool of corruption, and it wasn't La Perla that they were wearing underneath. It was absolutely Halloween 15. So there you go.
It was crotchless chaps from the Village People shoot 1975. So you mentioned this idea that he was able to now embark on this journey, make America great again, and I truly believe that that will be the case. The biggest loser in all this was the media. What do you think?
Yeah, there were winners and losers in both of this. Obviously, the biggest winners were liberty and democracy. So what Donald Trump has done is he's exposed the fraud, widespread systemic corruption throughout Washington, and that has to be dealt with, and we will deal with it, instead of it just going forward and moving on and sweeping every little thing under the carpet. Now, the FBI, the Department of Justice under Loretta Lynch, is so politicized, we need change. So the biggest losers, Max, I couldn't agree with you more. CNN was disgraceful the way that they handled the entire election, from handing out the debate questions in advance to having only one side of a story.
Yeah, the media leper colony, as it is, the one with the most fingers appears to be Fox News, you know, so to speak. Well, RT, of course, setting the standards because of their connection to WikiLeaks and all the reveals that came out, Julian Assange, etc. But, you know, you look at the big picture. You mentioned Brexit earlier. We've been talking about the global insurrection against banker occupation now for a number of years. A lot of countries are trying to break free from the occupation of the banksters. Egypt, the Arab Spring, Black Lives Matter, all these things are connected. With the Trump presidency, do you think this finally is going to kick the teeth out of those banksters and kleptocrats that have ruled for a couple of decades now?
Well, you know, I think what's happened is we're seeing a big change. People are fed up with it. The 99% are fed up with it, which is good. And they're actually moving with their vote and with their feet, and they're marching, and they're saying, we're not going to take this anymore, which is significant. It's a significant change. The tide has moved, and it's shifted away from the political narrative that's been put forward by 99% of the media. You know, the statistic was 97% of media donations went to Hillary Clinton in this campaign. So no matter how hard they tried, and no matter what they did, they still ended up losing the election. That speaks a lot. It speaks volumes about the sea changes that are going on in America.
So let's talk about the fundamental difference that was between these two candidates. Hillary Clinton is now conceding at the Javits Center. How does the Javits Center compare to the Hilton? What is that fundamentally telling you about these candidates?
Well, the Javits Center was heavily subsidized by some political pay-to-play, where the government, somebody got a stack full of Franklins, many stacks full of Franklins, to go and endeavor the project and build that Javits Center, whereas the Hilton was a private family that probably started with very little and then built an empire in the hotel. So it was hard work and putting your shoulder to the grindstone to move forward and move America forward. I mean, what we need to do in this country is address the terrible economy for the past 8 years that the administration and that we hadn't been brought out in any of the debates. What they've done is candy-coated everything, and they said how great employment was. But what they didn't say was that the employment rate is not indicative of the participation rate. There's 95 million unemployed out there, and that is a big, big factor.
No, well, you know, the Midtown experience is Marquee, Broadway, Times Square, Manhattan, New York, whereas the Javits Center is down Lower West Side, Meatpacking District, Jacob Javits Center, Mafia, you know, Union corruption.
The headbusters.
The leg breakers and the head crackers. You know, that's the cashews. You know, this is all about...
The concrete shoes.
Oh yeah, the concrete shoes.